A lot of Aussies are waking up this morning seeing the news about Liz Truss, the former Prime Minister who's just resigned. I've got two clips for you to explain what's going on, because everyone's a bit confused, everyone's got an opinion, but what's the truth? I've got Nigel Farage who's explaining exactly what's going on over there, and there's no one better to explain what happened in the UK and where it's going to go. And he makes the point that the person to replace Liz Truss after this drama will be a guy called Rishi Sunak, who was the treasurer for the former Prime Minister before Liz Truss, Boris Johnson. Rishi Sunak, as the treasurer, he is very much a globalist. And there's a video that I posted in March this year, which got hundreds of thousands of views. He talks about digital currencies and how Rishi Sunak and a lot of the G7 countries are really trying to bring in essential digital currency. These videos will explain if you give this a share, get it out there. People need to know what their governments are up to and what's going on.
So there you have it, the absolute farce. The circus continues. We've had 4 chancellors in 4 months, 3 home secretaries in 7 weeks, and now we'll have a 3rd prime minister as Liz Truss goes after 45 days, the shortest ever in British history. It'll be decided as a stitch-up by Conservative MPs. I can tell you the result already. It will be a globalist, it will be a Remainer, it will be a big state, high taxer. The Conservative Party, as we have known it in our lifetimes, is now dead. Of that I've got absolutely no doubt at all. On a human level, I of course feel a bit sorry for Liz Truss. She was at least trying to do the right thing. But the problem was, frankly, she wasn't up to it and the execution was poor. But she was trying to reverse declinism, trying to reduce the size of a state, trying to put more money back in people's pockets. And I respect her, at least for having a go. As I say, the successor will be a globalist. And just look at it. They're all Remainers, Shaps now in there, as are Home Secretary Sunak, almost certain to be the next Prime Minister. It has been a shocking period of time. They are not fit to govern. There they were, fighting like rats in a sack at the division lobbies last night. This Conservative Party is damaging the country, damaging our national security by allowing criminals to cross the English Channel, damaging our economy by now going back to the economic orthodoxy of Blair and Cameron, which means low growth and low productivity. I believe we need to replace this Conservative Party, and a lot of people have said, Nigel, step up to the plate, you can do it. Truth of it is, I can't do this on my own. It will need some very well-known national household names to come together. In a way, the gang afforded it with the SDP back in 81. They didn't quite break the first past the post system. I guess in the end, though, they got Tony Blair. Hey, and now they've got the modern Conservative Party. So in that sense, they did change the mould of British politics. No, if we're going to replace the Tory Party, we need some really, really big guns on board. Whether those people exist remains to be seen. I've been too used to Conservatives who are brave in much of what they say, but not in their actions. But we must have a party to fight globalism, a party to stand up for the rights of the individual. We desperately need something in this country that is actually conservative. I'm going to go on GB News making the arguments, giving people a home that they can actually come to. The BBC this morning, marvellous, wasn't it? Max Hastings, there he was, supposedly from the Conservatives, saying that Brexit's been a disaster. The game is on. They want us back in the single market. We're going to have to fight it. I repeat the point. I can't do it on my own, but I'll keep the argument going on GB News.
So the UK is currently the head of the G7 group. That's the world's most economically advanced countries. And the UK currently chairs the G7 group. Our Chancellor, who does our economy, called Chancellor of the Exchequer, his name's Rishi Sunak. He put out this video saying that what they want to do is bring in this thing called the central banking digital currency. They want to replace fiat paper money with digital money as a competitor to Bitcoin and crypto money, right? But instead of being decentralized currency, it will be controlled by a government. It's digital currency, but controlled centrally through the banks, Bank of England. So instead of having a bank account with whatever, HSBC or Bank of America, you'll have a bank account directly with, in the American context, with the Fed. In the UK, directly with the Bank of England. You have a personal bank account, and you're given digital money in that bank account. These are called central banking digital currencies. The Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK has already announced their intention to do this as the G7 group. And these, if you look up...
this sounds terrifying.
If you look up the Telegraph newspaper...
Central bank digital currency, is that the one down below?
Digital currency should be programmable. See that one there? Yeah? Now what they're doing is they're saying, everyone knows that with inflation at over 5%, it's now 5.4%, right? our fiat money, the paper money, is increasingly becoming worthless, and we're headed towards a big disaster. The Fed wants to raise interest rates. But we're in so much debt that if you raise interest rates, people are going to suffer, because we're living on debt as Western economies. So they realize that this kind of the lifespan of paper money is fast coming to an end because of the 2008 economic crash in particular. So they're bringing in these central banking digital currencies. Why is that word programmable in there? So what they said in that article, and the Chancellor put a video out saying this as well, they've said that this money that you will earn from work, instead of having paper money, you have this digital money. It's programmable so that you can't buy certain foods, or if you do something that your employer doesn't like, it's all in that article. You won't be able to spend your money. In other words, it's not money. They're vouchers. They're like food vouchers. And they can be programmed so that, like the Chinese social credit system, that if you try and use them on a certain thing, it won't work. You say you want to buy a burger and they want you to buy bugs, which is one of the examples used. If you start to try and buy unhealthy meat, it just won't work. You tap your card, you can't buy the thing because you've met your quota that month of burgers. You have to buy something like a vegan meal.
So it won't just be money in the sense of the way we have dollars or pounds today.
Yeah.
It'll be something that's controlled in terms of your ability to distribute it.
Which is why I'm calling it a voucher. It's a coupon.
But even a coupon, if you have a coupon to buy bread, you can still buy the bread.
Yeah.
Like, there's
But
no...
you can't buy, see, that coupon to buy bread, what you can't do is buy a burger with that coupon. It's for bread.
Right.
Yeah?
Right. Do you feel like you're sounding the alarm
Yes.
for people that don't understand what is going on?
So here, I'll put it up for you here, yeah? So there's the video.
The group of the world's 7 most advanced economies, the G7, is launching a set of public policy principles for retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies could be a digital version of money, a bit like a digital banknote.
Right, so that's the guy who runs our economy in the UK. His name's the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And here is the article. Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming, yeah? And here's a quote from the article. Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible.
Holy shit.
I'm going to take it one step further for you, Joe, right? So the checkpoint Charlie exists everywhere. They bring in digital banking, central banking digital currencies. You've got a scenario now that you're checking in and out everywhere you go using vouchers that are programmed, and you can only spend where you're told you can spend them. There's another word for that, man. That's called the Chinese social credit system. So what they are telling us, and when I say they, who's they? People in power. That's the head of our economy, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, second most powerful person other than the Prime Minister and maybe the Foreign Secretary in the UK, right? He's telling us, I just played it there for you, he's telling us that's what he, as the UK, the